Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Prop Wiz. I'm your host, The Wiz. I am missing my co-host, my son, aka the Geek Son. He's out on vacation right now. So this is probably one of the first out of the theater reviews that I've done in a long time. And his presence is definitely missed. For one, I'm having to film at home because I did film a video right outside of the movie theater and it went horribly wrong because not only is my son my co-host, but he's also my co-producer. So obviously I can't do this thing without him. I shot a whole video inside the car. Both my beard and my eyebrows was jacked up. My eyebrows was actually pointed straight down the whole time. In fact, let me make sure I'm good. Now, you guys have probably seen my beard looking wild, but the combination of my beard plus the eyebrows is just too much, man. It's a paradox, which is somehow a segue into what we're here for. So this is an out of the theater review for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Dude, I loved it, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. This was a good movie, but let me tell you right from the jump, something I didn't know. I don't think this is a spoiler, so I apologize now if you get mad. It's not a spoiler, but I feel like this is something they didn't really make clear to us that they should have told us, which is this is a part one of sorts, or in fact, maybe just the middle movie of a whole trilogy. So this one doesn't feel as complete. It kind of lays out the story for where it's going to go probably for the third one. They literally hit us with the to be continued. I'm not going to lie, man. I ain't gonna say I was upset, but when the words popped up on the screen, I actually thought they was punking us. I sat around, not waiting for an end credit scene, but I was waiting for them to be like, nah, we're gonna go ahead and finish it. They didn't. So just a heads up, again, I guess that's borderline in a spoiler, maybe for some, but I don't know. I just feel like that's a real piece that we should have been given. You'll enjoy the movie a little bit different. Maybe some people won't go to see the movie because they don't feel like it's a complete story. So let me just fill you in that the movie was complete. It didn't tell a complete story, but it was a very, very good story. It was a very good stepping stone. Where it ended, it did make sense. I could see where it's going in the next film. Very, very excited. Okay, now that I got that out the way, let me just rewind a little bit. The movie was dope. I already said it was dope, right? The movie was dope. If you like the first one, you'll definitely like this one. The story did focus on Gwen Stacey more. I actually thought it was going to be a Gwen Stacey movie, so it did start out that way. They laid the groundwork for who that character is, her backstory, a lot of the stuff that we didn't get in the first film. And then shortly after that, they pivoted to Miles, stayed on Miles for the rest of the time. It became a Miles story. Or at the very least, I guess maybe a Miles and Gwen story. The animation was super dope. They carried what they took from the first one. They pushed it a little bit. Of course, we know they're dealing with the multiverse even more. So we were able to see different worlds that were animated different. Some that were animated slightly the same that just had some weird differences. Man, it's real hard to explain without giving a spoiler on that. So just know that it was a multiverse movie and they did utilize that to its fullest and it was beautiful. The Miles character and where they're taking his story was great. You could see him taking those steps to become that hero that we know he's going to become. I mean, he made it there at the end. Like we thought he was there at the end of Into the Spider-Verse. This one kind of shows there's still some growth. He's definitely a more confident Spider-Man, but he got some ways to go, especially as a human, just as a boy, not so much just as a Spider-Man, but his relationship with his parents were real cool. They kind of focused on that. In fact, I say that was a pretty important part of the film, man. His relationship with both his mom and his father. Speaking of fathers, that's something that kind of echoed throughout the whole movie, actually. So fathers was a big deal. I didn't think about that until now. But fathers was something that really echoed throughout the film. So the story was great. As far as the cool stuff, the animation, the fight scenes, man, all dope. We already know what to expect from these films, man. It was very dope. Not just dope, man. It was beautiful, man. Some of the beautiful shots that they had from the first movie, the things of him jumping off the building upside down, it was just a lot more of those kind of shots that were just, I can't describe it no other way but to say they were gorgeous, man. Just gorgeous animated shots. And of course that translated into the action scenes as well, man. Just real dope action scenes. There were some characters in there. In fact, I don't want to give it away, man. There were some characters that I thought were going to be very small characters that end up being huge. Very essential to the film. So I was kind of surprised about that. The trailers depicted Spider-Man 2099 as being somewhat of a villain. I think we were all smart enough to know that he wasn't the villain. With that being said, the way they play that character and what he does represent in this film is crazy, man. It's a handful. And while we're on the subject of Spider-Man 2099, man, to see him on the screen was just awesome, man. This is one of those comic books that I got when I was younger. I think I was already in high school, but this is when Marvel dropped a series of these #1 comic books, and Spider-Man 2099 was one of them. Dude, I thought it was one of the greatest prizes I ever had to get this. Yo, this is gonna be the beginning of something, man. And so the good news is I finally get to see him on the screen. Obviously, he resonated, that he's a relevant character, that he plays such an important role in this movie. The bad news is I no longer have that comic book. I don't know what happened to it. Horrible comic book collector at times. But I will be getting my hands on another one soon if this doesn't skyrocket the comic book price. But anyways, back to the movie. Real dope character. Real dope on screen. All the alternate Spider-Mans was amazing, beautiful to see on the screen. Again, these were things that were in the trailer, but the trailer didn't really prepare me for me sitting in the movie theater and actually trying to look for characters that I grew up with. They had alternate Spider-Man from every single media that you can imagine. Print, comic books, movies, you name it, TV shows, cartoons, and it felt like there was just thousands of them. So I know I didn't see them all, but there was a couple here and there that I was able to catch. And again, it was kind of cool, man. There was 1 or 2 characters that played a central part or were in the movie longer than I thought they were going to be, that were characters that I came up with. So that was real cool to see on the screen. And along the same lines as the multiverse, man, if you've seen some of my other videos, I'm not a real big fan of the multiverse. I'm just not. I don't know why. I don't like the multiverse. I thought Spider-Man No Way Home did a real good job with it. I can rock with it a little bit, the time travel stuff that was in Endgame, but I feel like these Spider-Man movies, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse did a real good job of it. Of course, he didn't dive into that world completely, as this one he kind of does, and I can say they handled it very, very beautiful. It wasn't as distracting as some of the other movies. I didn't overthink it. They kind of made the rules of the multiverse very, very clear in this movie. They followed it, so I was able to follow it way better than I can in other movies. It didn't feel like they were using it as a cheat. It just felt like it was super duper essential to the story. Man, I think that's pretty much it, man. There's not a lot that I can go into more than that without spoiling anything. There are definitely some things in this movie that you can spoil just even by talking about characters. So I don't want to go there until you guys get a chance to see the movie. If there's a big enough demand for it, I'll go ahead and do a full review of this at some later date when it's a little bit more safe. But with all that being said, man, I absolutely love the movie, love the story, love the animation. Can't wait for the next chapter. I think this series is going to go down. If they land that 3rd movie properly, this is going to definitely go down as one of the greatest trilogies in comic book history. Of course, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is already on a lot of people's top list. I have a feeling if you like Into the Spider-Verse that this one's going to be up there too. It's very, very consistent. It's one of those things where it was hard to say whether it was better, but it wasn't worse than the first one. At the very least, it was equal with it. Yo, this was very, very much a very good companion piece to the first one. We'll see. I'm going to check it out again later, and we'll see how we feel about it in the future. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Have you seen the movie? You plan on seeing the movie? What are your thoughts on it already? Leave me some comments. If you liked the video, please go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And as always, I love you guys to death, and I'll check you out next time, all right? Peace.